14 stories, thousands of tons of concrete, gone in seconds. In January 2026, the South Sea neighborhood in Nairobi was shaken by a disaster, but 14-story giants don't just fall down by accident. Physics doesn't make mistakes, people do. Was it the heavy rains? A greedy developer skipping safety checks, or a fatal flaw deep in the foundation? Today we are digging through the rubble. We are going to find the point of failure. To understand why it fell, we first need to understand what it was. This wasn't just any building. It was a symbol of ambition, a 14-story residential tower rising in Nairobi's South Sea. For months, it stood as a testament to modern engineering, a promise of new homes. But beneath the rising concrete were the seeds of its destruction already being sown. Every skyscraper, every multi-story structure begins with a silent battle against one fundamental force: gravity. And that battle is won or lost, not in the penthouse, but deep underground, in the foundation. Reports from the region often highlight concerns about rapid, unregulated construction. Was this building an outlier or a symptom of a larger issue? So what was the precise point of failure for the South Sea building? While official investigations are ongoing, early analyses and expert opinions point to a devastating combination of factors. Eyewitnesses and local reports sometimes speak of shortcuts, of materials compromised, or of foundations laid on unstable ground. These are the whispers before the roar. But what exactly went wrong here? What was the critical flaw that turned a towering ambition into a pile of dust? Every structure, from a small shed to a 14-story tower, is a delicate balance of forces. At its core, it's a bout load, the total weight pushing down, and the ability of the materials to withstand that stress without experiencing too much strain. The entire weight of the building, every floor, every beam, every person, is funneled down through its columns and walls, ultimately resting on one crucial component: the foundation. This is where the immense force of compression is transferred to the ground. Foundations aren't just concrete slabs. They're engineered to distribute that colossal weight over a wide enough area to prevent the ground beneath from failing. Think of it like standing on snow. Spread your weight and you don't sink. But what if the ground itself isn't strong enough? Or what if external factors like heavy rainfall drastically reduce its bearing capacity? Waterlogged soil loses its ability to support weight, turning solid ground into a treacherous sponge. Then there's the issue of structural overloading. Imagine a column designed for 5 floors, but it's asked to support 14. The materials themselves, whether steel or concrete, have a yield strength, a point beyond which they deform permanently and ultimately fail. Concrete is strong in compression, but weak in tension. That's why we add rebar steel reinforcement to handle the pulling forces. If the rebar is insufficient or of poor quality, the entire system is compromised. These failures don't always happen instantly. Often there are subtle signs: hairline cracks, uneven settling, or a slight tilt. These are the building's desperate cries for help, warnings that the forces are winning the battle. In the case of the South Sea collapse, investigators are looking at a combination of these factors. Was it the soil, the design, the materials, or a perfect storm of all three that led to its ultimate demise? The answer lies in understanding the precise moment when the forces of gravity finally overwhelmed the structure's ability to resist. Witnesses described a terrifying, deafening roar as the 14-story structure simply, in a matter of seconds, years of construction, millions of dollars, and untold dreams were reduced to a monumental pile of rubble. The point of no return had been crossed, and with that, the battle was over. Gravity, unforgiving as ever, had claimed its victory. The silence after the roar was deafening, broken only by the frantic calls of rescue workers and the wails of those who had lost everything. Investigations immediately began, with structural engineers poring over every detail, seeking to officially pinpoint the precise point of failure. The South Sea disaster, much like countless other structural failures globally, serves as a stark reminder of the immense responsibility held by architects, engineers, and city planners. When corners are cut or regulations are ignored, the laws of physics will eventually assert themselves with brutal finality. The collapse of the South Sea building wasn't just a physical event, it was a human tragedy. Lives were lost, families were displaced, and a community was left grappling with unimaginable grief. Each piece of twisted metal and shattered concrete represents a broken promise, a shattered dream. But beyond the immediate devastation, the aftermath also brings a critical period of reckoning. Recall our discussion of compression and unstable ground. Imagine the 14 stories above, pushing down with unimaginable force. If the soil beneath wasn't properly assessed, the ground simply couldn't bear the load. Reports often highlight the use of substandard materials and inadequate rebar. If the steel within the concrete wasn't strong enough, or if the concrete mix was poor, the building's internal skeleton was inherently weak. This is where the concept of structural overloading becomes tragically clear. A single weak point, a poorly constructed column, a section of compromised rebar, or an undermined foundation can initiate a progressive collapse. One failure triggers another. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please like this video, subscribe to Point of Failure, and let us know in the comments what other structural mysteries you'd like us to investigate.